Look at this. Storm the Capitol. Barbie was right once again. Surprise, surprise. They are controlling the weather.
At first glance, this guy sounds like a Marjorie Taylor Greene supporter.
And for the record, the only pronouns I recognize are they and them, because that's who's doing everything out here.
But the absurdities are the giveaway. This is actually a comedian, Brent Terhune, pretending to be a redneck and amplifying Greene's idiocy.
They're controlling the weather. That's a fact, and we're going to have to face up to it. I mean, who do you think made it rain on Alanis Morissette's wedding day? It was Dave Coulier in the Full House with a weather machine. You know, somebody said it was raining cats and dogs. I said, I believe it. They're probably feeding the people in Springfield. That's what they're doing. And for years, it was raining men. And now I look around out here. I don't see any real men unless I look in the mirror. We got a drought on our hands. You think that was on accident? No. Where are the real men? Where have all the cowboys gone?
Funny stuff, right? Well, it gets even better. Watch.
Somebody said, why did Snoop Dogg buy an umbrella? Faux drizzle. Well, let me ask you this. How did he know it was going to rain? Think about that. I haven't. The bottom line is, I'd rather believe all that than acknowledge that there are real problems in our world. Bad stuff just doesn't happen. It's got to be manufactured.
And that impersonation of an MTG supporter and the nonsensical logic is spot on. Think about that. I haven't. Terhune's brilliance stands out in part because of how ridiculous the MAGA Marjorie Taylor Greene crowd has become. And by the way, Greene is now doubling down on her claims about Democrats, the Biden administration, and perhaps even the media controlling the weather. In a follow-up tweet, Greene wrote, "Here is Obama's CIA Director John Brennan talking about it." And Greene posted this clip.
The array of technologies, often referred to collectively as geoengineering, that potentially could help reverse the warming effects of global climate change. One that has gained my personal attention is stratospheric aerosol injection, or SAI.
But as USA Today reported, fact check, no, former CIA director did not admit plan for geoengineering or chemtrails. Quote, "The video does not show Brennan admitting to the existence of a CIA plan to use geoengineering technology. Instead, it shows Brennan speaking in 2016 about the foreign policy implications of emerging geoengineering technology. The report added geoengineering technologies like stratospheric aerosol injection are still being developed and studied. Alan Robach, a climate science professor at Rutgers University, previously told USA Today. Robach and other researchers have also told USA Today they are not aware of any significant geoengineering experiments or operations. In other words, Marjorie Taylor Greene is once again full of shit. And it's irrelevant whether Greene is lying deliberately or because of her own stupidity. The fact is, Greene is once again misleading the public and trying to leverage a natural disaster this time to smear her political opponents. The Biden-Harris administration is used to these kinds of antics, but there are people in Florida and the U.S. Southeast who are going to get killed because of these idiotic MAGA political games. And it's not just Greene who's playing around with people's lives. Several conservative lawmakers and a few hosts on Fox keep claiming the Biden administration is diverting Federal Emergency Management Agency money to programs supporting undocumented migrants.
How about you help out every American in need? And how about you not steal the money from FEMA and give it to your unvetted illegal immigrants from 180 countries? Because their illegal immigrants seem to be prioritized and are way more important than the American people.
But the claim from Hannity and others has been undercut by Republicans on the House Appropriations Committee. They have sent a memo to Chad Pergram, a Fox News journalist. The memo says that FEMA has enough funding in the short term to address immediate needs for both Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. It also declares there's no funding connection between the Migrant Shelter Program and the Disaster Relief Fund. It adds there's no intermingling of funding between these two programs. It adds that the only connection is that both programs are administered by FEMA. Both programs, funded separately by Congress, are administered by FEMA. Clearly, that is too difficult a concept for Sean Hannity and others. But let's suppose it becomes painfully obvious, thanks to the damage in Florida from Milton, that FEMA does need more money for disaster assistance and recovery. Well, Republicans are stuck. Because if Republicans vote for more money now, before the election, after years of voting against spending bills and FEMA funding, the Republicans will be in deep political trouble. Their own political base will get deflated by the spending and sudden disregard for budget deficits. And Democrats will rightfully pound Republicans as hypocrites. And here's one more problem for Republicans. The extent to which the federal government saves people's lives and helps people rebuild will bolster the public image that the Biden administration has in terms of solving problems. And as we saw with Republicans earlier this year, when they voted against their own border security bill, Republicans are not willing to do anything that might help the Biden administration politically in an election year. Because for the GOP, gaining political power matters more than helping people or saving lives. And so, FEMA funding, which would require a vote in Congress, is going to have to wait, according to Republican leaders, until after the election, no matter how bad things get now in Florida and the U.S. Southeast. And to divert attention away from having painted themselves into a corner, Republicans are claiming the storm damage is actually being caused by the Biden administration. Well, President Biden is not amused.
They're saying the money is needed for this crisis is being diverted to migrants. What a ridiculous thing to say. It's not true. Now the claims are getting even more bizarre. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, a congresswoman of Georgia, is now saying the federal government is literally controlling the weather. We're controlling the weather. It's beyond ridiculous. It's got to stop.
But the chance of Greene and many other Republicans stopping their nonsense is zero. These Republicans feel no obligation to tell the truth or to promote basic facts. Instead, these lunatics are making things up, and it's crazier than ever. It's beyond sad and pathetic. But thankfully, a few comedians are helping us laugh so we don't have to cry. So kudos to Brent Terhune for giving us a glimpse in epic fashion into the absurdity that is the world of Donald Trump, MAGA, and Marjorie Taylor Greene.
You know, these rappers were telling us for years. What do you think they meant when they said they were making it rain? They're not talking about throwing fitties at titties. Hell, if you can't trust a rapper, who can you trust? You know, somebody said, why did Snoop Dogg buy an umbrella? Faux drizzle. Well, let me ask you this. How did he know it was going to rain? Think about that. I haven't.
By the way, former Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy recently embarrassed Donald Trump by letting slip the truth.
I think it's easier for Republicans to pick up seats this cycle than it has been for the last two. Unfortunately, what has changed is Democrats have tremendous amounts more money than the Republicans do. And we're in the majority.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Gertie, who wrote, McCarthy could have stopped Trump running again if he had done his darn job after January the 6th. I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about Marjorie Taylor Greene getting humiliated and ridiculed for her latest conspiracy theories and epic storm stupidity. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.